Hey guys, Jay here. Today I'm going to be showing you how I did this. So this is a flamethrower, not a real one. It's just, yeah, you know. So it was a Nerf gun and a water bottle. So easy, right? So this is going to be for a Luigi costume. Mario could use it too, it doesn't really matter. But it was for a Mario and Luigi group thing that Atlas and I are doing at SummerCon this year. We don't have anything for Luigi. We were thinking of making the backpack and the vacuum, but we don't think that would really work in the apocalypse style that we're doing, because it's all like dirty and apocalypse looking and stuff like that. So I wanted to make something that was more apocalypse related, and a vacuum just wouldn't work. So I went with the whole, he has his hands held on something, you know, and that's kind of what you do with a rifle. So why not? So this was, I think, found at a Goodwill. Don't remember. But it was a Raptor Strike Nerf gun, N series Nerf gun or something like that. And then I alter it in the video, obviously. And then a water bottle, a 1 liter water bottle. It was like one of those healthy water things or whatever. Even though water is already healthy, but you know, like Life Water, stuff like that. That's supposed to be better water for you. It was one of those, but it wasn't Life Water. It was one of the other ones. I took the label off and I don't remember what it was. So we figured flamethrower was the best option, because a regular rifle just doesn't seem like it would work that well with Luigi. Originally we thought flamethrower because usually a flamethrower would have a backpack to it. It would be like a, what's called an Alice frame, which is like a military thing where it's a metal frame that they put all their stuff on for the military, and it makes it easier to carry and distributes the weight better. We were gonna do that, or get something similar to that, or make something similar out of like PVC pipe, and then put a tank on it, like make a tank out of foam or something, and then have a wire coming through to this. But we realized not only can we not hold bags, so if we don't know who's doing what. So I might do Luigi, which means I'd be able to do that. But if Atlas were to have done that, if he were to have done Luigi, he wouldn't be able to carry his bags around because he uses a messenger bag, and he wouldn't be able to put that on. He wouldn't be able to hold everything. It wouldn't work. And that was the original plan, was him to be Luigi. So instead, I decided to do it this way, where it's got the tank on top. So yeah, that's why this looks the way it does. But yeah, I should probably stop rambling now and get onto the actual video. Alright, so this is the Nerf gun that I'm going to be using for this. Now, just fair warning, Nerf guns are usually not allowed at conventions. So, because they have the firing capability, you can fire things with it, most conventions don't allow them, even if they're broken. So, look up your con rules for that first, and if they're allowed, cool. If not, then just don't even bother. But the one we're taking this to, which is SummerCon in Puyallup, Washington, they allow them. I don't even think they force you to disable them either. I think they're just straight up allowed. But we're disabling this one anyway, so I'm going to be gluing all the trigger and stuff shut. Main problem, this is the firing mechanism where it's the bolt action thing where you pull it back forward, and then you can fire it. I have to figure out how to break that without breaking the whole thing. I would take it apart, but this has a lot of stuff that I don't think I can put back together correctly. But I'm going to see about taking this off in this video at some point. I thought I could twist this off because it's twisting, but it seems to just do that, and I don't know why. So I can't take it off that way. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to use my Dremel with a cutting wheel, but I don't know if any of mine are going to be strong enough. The strongest ones I have are fiberglass ones, but I have 2 of them. So if I break both of those trying to do this, I don't have any more cutting wheels. So I'm going to do everything else first and then do this last before I paint it, so that, like, if I have to leave this on, I can leave it on, but if I can take it off, then I'll do that at the very end so that I don't destroy the rest of it when you know what I mean. So it's also got a bunch of words on it. So it's like here, it has this Raptor Strike thing, and up here, and then there's some over here. Yeah, it's all on the other side too. It has the exact same stuff, except it's not colored in. So the paint is only on one side, this black paint. So I have to take all of that off or fill it in, but taking it off is easier. The Nerf one here and this I'm going to take off. This one I'm going to fill in, and then take the series part off. So it says AccuStrike series. The AccuStrike part is a like a rectangle with an edge cut off, but it's indented in rather than raised. So I can just fill that in with some putty, smooth it all out, and it'll just be smooth like the rest of the rectangle piece. But then I still have to get the series off of there. So for that, I'm going to be using the Dremel with the grinding stone. And that's because that's the best thing I have. So we're going to see what happens. Alright, so it's kind of hard to tell, but that's about as good as I could do. Fair warning. Also, while you're doing that, maybe wear eye protection too. Not maybe, wear eye protection. That was not fun. So, yeah, started getting my eyes, had to fix that. Forgot to wipe off my table. Let's get some sandpaper. So we just go over this with sandpaper, and if I had coarser sandpaper or grittier, I don't know, ones that have like a rougher surface, might help, but I think this is all I got. I have to look. But either way, just gonna do that for a while. The main parts are sanded that I really need sanded right now. So now I'm gonna fill in, hopefully, the things that I said I was going to fill in earlier. So, I don't know if this putty's good anymore. Haven't used this stuff in a few years. So, it goes bad eventually. But, whatever. Good enough. When I am done doing this, and I have it all filled in, I can sand it smooth so it looks just like a rectangle thingy, rather than having the words in it. So, I haven't finished sanding this yet, but as you can see, I got the thing off. So, I'll just talk about how I did this real quick. This was annoying. So, I started with some pliers and tried to see if I could pull the plastic thing off, which wasn't working too well. It bent it, obviously, and then I cut it. Obviously. So, I had this. This is a cut-off wheel. It's a ceramic one, I believe. Not a ceramic, a fiberglass one. That's made for metal. So this one's made to do on metal. So it's what it's for. So, while you're doing that, please wear safety glasses. I wore them the whole time. You will want to too. It'll save your eyes. Trust me. So yeah, you know, safety, that kind of thing. So I was having a problem getting this through. Like, it was in there and then I had to pull it out. I was having a problem with that. So the way I did that was I don't have it with me right now because it's not mine. I had a screwdriver. I took this like off the table and put it in there. So this was like through here, through the other side. And I had it in there and smacked it enough times with a hammer until it finally popped out. So we're going to talk about how to do other stuff to this thing. Now, I still, again, have to finish sanding it all. I haven't sanded any of this side of the words that I covered with the wood filler. So I'm just going to do that. Wow, super hard, right? Yeah, so we just doing that. So, now we just have the whole gun, and this is, without that thing on there, I think it already looks like a million times better. I don't even know if I want to fill that in, because it just looks like a cool little hole. I don't know what that would be for, but whatever. So, what we're going to do with this, we were originally going to have a tank backpack, like with a gas tank, or a gas tank that Atlas built, but I don't think we need to do that. I think it might be easier if we just do the Elon Musk style, where I think that he's the one who made the flamethrower, the one that like Will Smith and everyone got to use. And I had a tank on here. I'm just gonna use like a 1 liter bottle. I'm gonna see if I can find one of those like life bottles of life water. If they have one big enough, it looks like a cool tank, and then cover it with like a label. I can color it in and then put labels on it, and then make it look like a gas tank, and then have a cord and there's a little notch right here. Don't know why. It's just there. It doesn't go to anything. It doesn't actually do anything. You can't set anything in it. I have no idea what it's for. But I can drill into that and put the hose in there so it looks like it's going from the tank to the thing in the flamethrower. I think that'll look a lot better. Also, that allows Atlas, who's going, it's probably going to be Atlas doing Luigi. We haven't figured this out yet. So I'm taller than he is, but I have a Mario costume. So we don't know who's doing what. I might do Luigi with this, and then he do Mario with my hammer, which I made for Halloween a couple years ago. So he's gonna probably have that if we both decide that he should be Mario, because he's shorter than me, and I think he's a little bigger than me now. So I think that might be a better idea, and then I'll do Luigi, but he's buying all the Luigi stuff because I already have all the Mario stuff. We just swap it while we're here. It's not a big deal. But that way we can carry things because whoever has this would have to have had the backpack on, meaning we couldn't carry anything in the backpack. Or like he usually carries a messenger bag, and he wouldn't have been able to do that with a backpack on. I'm going to glue this stuff shut because that can't be working. We're not allowed to have that kind of action going. So I'm going to super glue that. I don't know why I didn't have this ready at the, whatever. I'm just gonna blammo. Easy. Bam! Now it's shut. Alright, so I have a few things here. Not that. Not a couple of these either. But I've kind of figured out what I'm going to be doing now. So this hasn't changed since yesterday. But I do need this for the rest of it. So this bottle here is just a water bottle. It still has specks of water in it. I'm just waiting for it to all dry out before I actually do anything. I don't think I really need it to dry out too much, but it still can get some water on you if you wave it around too much. But I took the cap off and the little ring that went around it that holds the cap on. So I took the knife, basically, and just cut off a section of this dowel. This is just I think 30 millimeter. It's just a little over an inch, like an inch and an eighth or so. And I bought this at Michael's, I believe, a long time ago. I just had a bunch left over. I cut down a piece of PVC. Like I said, I drilled into the hole of this. Put that in there so it sticks out a little bit. This is a hex nut that I made from one of my Cloud armors for Final Fantasy VII Cloud. And then this is another one. And then I just opened it a little more, like I made the hole bigger, and set it on here so it looks a little better. And then this is going to go in here, like so. And it's really hard to get in and out because it's almost the exact size, and it like vacuum forms. So I got to be really careful with that. But if I hold it, since it's foam, if I hold it in a little bit, the foam will let air out so I can get it all the way down. And then I made it so that it's the exact same height, or basically the exact height I needed. And then this is the stopper so that it doesn't go any further. And I have to glue this in, and I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to do that with super glue because it doesn't really need much other than that. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Just like the plastic here on the gun, it's better to sand this, so the PVC pipe, so that the glue holds better. Then I'm just gonna put a bunch of super glue in here, shove it in there, call that good, and then I'll do the same thing around the outside edge here, where the foam hex nut is going to be. Put that in place. Let that dry, and that should be fine, and it'll stay perfectly. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I can probably do this now, figure out how big this needs to be. It's not a big deal. So this is angled. This is another dowel. This is a 20 millimeter dowel, I think. Great, I got glue on it. Awesome. This is a 20 millimeter, I believe, and there's a notch here. Hard to see, but there's a notch here. It doesn't go to anything. I think I mentioned it. This is a whole nother day. I think I mentioned it before, but it's like perfect to wear a a hose could go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it look like a hose, and this is going to go through the bottle to make it look like that's what's supplying the gas to the flamethrower. So I got to wipe this off. Hold on. So what I'm going to do now is figure out where this is going to go. So I got one of these things. This is a tie of some kind, a metal clamp of some kind, and it has a thing here for either a wrench, which I was actually using pliers to tighten it, or you could use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, which I apparently don't have, but it's whatever. And then this goes on. I already tightened it to fit on this a little bit, so it's gonna go on there like that. This will go like that or something. Also, this bottle isn't perfectly smooth. It's like dented in and stuff. There's nothing I can do about that. That might be better actually, because I'm gonna weather this thing, so it might look like it's been like dented in or something, like it hit something. I don't know. But I have to use the same sandpaper. What I'm going to do with this is I have a couple different paints. So I have this automotive primer, which if you've seen any of my tutorials, this is what I usually use to prime any of my props, because it's really fast drying and it's really good, and it's automotive, so it's like even tougher than a regular primer. This sticks to almost anything, so it's definitely going to stick to all the plastic. So I'll do all the painting at the same time, so I got to mask all this off and stuff like that, and then do the painting of that. But I also got a black version of the primer, and then I'm probably going to keep this black because I think I like the way it looks, and it looks great the way it is. I don't even need to paint that. All right, so everything's painted, but I'm just going to do this right now because I have it here with me. This is the bottle now all painted. I kind of like this gray color, but I want it to be a little darker. This is a little too light for my liking because the gun is way darker because it's black. So I'm going to darken this. I have this gray paint here, which is actually a mix that I was making, but it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever color you want, but I'm doing it with this dark gray here. And I'm brushing it on because I want this weird texture to it. And it doesn't really matter if I get on the hex nut here, because I'm actually going to paint that a different color later. But having this like texture up here makes it look old. Like maybe there was rust on it and someone repainted it. I like that look. That's what I want. And I'm going to do it randomly throughout the rest of it. So I'm going to do like, get a little bit on it and go. So now it looks like there's like maybe painted over rust there. It's probably hard to see, but it's bumpy now. So I wanted that look in like random places. And that's why I'm doing it this way. So this is probably going to be a lot harder to see because of my lighting. But so the gun is painted. I'm going to paint the trigger later, but I'm going to just use regular black. And then there's some spots I have to clean up. But the main point of right now is I'm going to be dry brushing the silver weathering. So I should explain what that is. So dry brushing is where you get some of the, so you can take like, here, let's take the bigger one. You take one of the brushes, dip it in the silver, wipe it off on a paper towel until it's basically gone, and then go over some of the edges. So like up here, it's going to be impossible to see, but like, so here I'm going to go over the edge a little bit on some of these pieces, and it'll make it look like weathering down to silver from the black. It's very difficult to gauge where the best places are for this, but a lot of corners are good spots, and some of the edges. You don't want to do every single edge. That'll just look weird. It'll look a little too weathered, and that's just too much. But you want to do it just on some of the places. So like maybe it got chipped right here or something, and because it got hit there, it would have got hit almost all the way down it, but it would have been worse that way. It's probably impossible for you guys to see that. I'll take closer like images and stuff of some of the things that I did here. Also, if you can get better silver, that would be a good idea. My silver is kind of garbage, so yeah. So that part has a more gunmetal look to it. Again, I don't know how much you're going to be able to see here, but I'm doing what I can. So maybe this blast shield here is silver. So let me just... Okay, this is the best I can do. I'm behind the camera. So here, now you can see the weathering. I have my light pointed down here so you can see what I did. And I have my microphone moved. So, yeah, you can see all the weathering there. And some of the parts that I made silver. So like I made these little things in here silver, kind of look cool. But you can see now what I meant here, where I made the blast shield look a little more silver. And this piece right here looks a little more silver. So I thought it was, because it was like a separate piece, so it kind of looked like it would be an add-on that was silver or something. So I'm down to the part where I'm putting the pieces, whatever these metal things are called, these metal clamp things, onto the gun itself. So you can see I have one on there already. I have another one that's going to go up here. I just dremeled holes in there. You can use a drill, a Dremel, doesn't really matter. I used my Dremel with a little cutting bit to just cut into it. This one's staying just fine, but the other one, the hole's a little big. So I have to glue that shut. So I have some 5-minute epoxy here, and I'm just gonna mix it up until it's a solid color, or well, one color. Get some of the epoxy on the hole there. And as the name suggests, this stuff dries in 5 minutes. So I gotta hurry. I already have the screw in here. I used the Dremel to cut this out. If you can get smaller screws, that would be a better option. I just didn't have any. So, come on. Looks like I might need to put a little more glue. I'll put some on the screw itself. That'd be a good idea. Dab a little more on the hole there. Yeah, and that just basically slides right in because that's as good as I could get. And then, so I'm going to leave it just like that for now. And I'm going to set it up against something so that it, yeah, so that doesn't move anymore. So I still have this piece. There was the bottle thing. I do like the texture on it that I put on it, but I do want to also add some rust to it. I was thinking of putting some type of fire logo on it or something, or some flammable logo, but now that I think about it, that might not work. I'm not sure. I was going to use a sticker paper, but I don't think it's going to stick to this very well. So I'm going to print one out and test it and see what happens. If it peels right back up, I'm not using it. But if it stays, then I'll like use a clear something like Mod Podge or something to make it all, you know, so it's all in there and doesn't come back off. But I'll see what happens there. So I'll be right back with that. All right, so the sticker idea totally did not work at all. That sucks. But I'm gonna do it this way. So I just have this printed off and then I cut it out. I left some little tabs on either end here. It doesn't matter where you leave them, but that means I can keep the center centered. So I have this red paint here, which I'm going to use for the outer thing. I don't need all that much, but I'm going to do it dry brush style, just like I was with the silver. So flip that so I don't have it on the silver side, just in case, because I was doing some silver earlier, so there's probably some wet silver on that other side. So I'm just gonna, using the same brush, just with a different color, obviously, and I washed it. Then I'm dabbing this on like that. It's not showing up very well, so I might be doing more than just dry brushing. Yeah, I may have to have a little bit more on here than when I dry brush, but that's fine. The main thing I want to make sure of is I don't move the center while I'm doing this, which is why I'm dabbing it and not like brushing, because brushing will move that center and I don't want to do that. There we go. Perfect. We got to move on to the next parts, which is putting this together, which is super easy. It just kind of automatically goes together. I'm going to glue it anyway, just to be on the safe side, but it already kind of vacuum forms itself, so it's whatever. There we go. Oh yeah, it's barely wanting to come back out, so that works for me. I'm going to put a little bit of glue around part of the edge there, and then just stuff this back together. And that'll keep it glued forever. And get some black here, and then I'm just going to make a little strip. I'm just going to see how big I need it to be. So this should fit in here just fine. It does. And it's not big enough. Alright, that'll work. Alright, so I can just super glue this down. So that's now the new end, and I'm going to paint that gold. Using gold here on this part is because it normally seems to be some kind of gold when you look at the flamethrower guns, or as far as I can tell, or like any of the valves for the gas for flamethrowers. It always looks like a golden color. So I'm just doing that. There we go. So that'll be that. And then when I'm done and I figure out where this needs to, how long this needs to be, it'll be glued into there. And I might make another smaller hex nut piece to go on the end, or I might just use one of the other ones. I had 3 of these, so there's 2 here. I had a third one because it was for my cloud armor, and he has 3. I just don't know where it is right now. It might be over where the other 2 were, but I'm not sure. If I can find that one, I'll just throw that one on the end of this when I put it in, so it looks like it's another, so it looks like it's another screwed on piece, so that'll be cool. I'm down to the part where I need to let this dry, and then I want to add some rust to this. That's going to be hard. Rust is good with some orange and browns. So I have to mix up a rust color, or a couple different colors, and see if I can get them on there in the spots that I really want them. I have to find out where it fits on the gun, where the little metal things are, and put rust around the areas where those are going to go, so it looks like they're rusting onto it like it's been on it for a while. So that's going to be a little bit. Alright, so now I'm starting to add the rust look to it. So I started by mixing a bunch of stuff together, and then did the smart thing of going on YouTube and looking up what colors do actually mix. I was way off. Apparently you need some blue in there. So it's orange and blue. And then I used some black in there to darken this, and I'm going to use some white to lighten it up to do the lighter areas, or maybe some yellow or something. But so far, all I've been doing, here let me go into another area where I want some to be. More dry brushing where I wipe it off, and then I'm stippling it on a little bit in areas that I want the rust. And I'm just making it kind of random patterned. So those areas where I stippled on the gray, I want it to be on that mostly. Maybe a little more right there. All right. That should be good. All right. And now I need to figure out where the other ring goes, and then I'll start going around that section. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it's right along here. It's not perfectly around, but it'll be fine. If I make it large enough, then it won't really matter. That looks good. I'm liking that. So next we're going to lighten this up with a little bit of yellow. Just hope that works, because I'm not even sure. And get my mixing stick. I think I need to make a new one. Oops. Alright, that's already a lighter color. That's good enough for me. So, don't need the mixing stick anymore. Carefully. This thing's making a lot of noise. It keeps rocking back and forth because it's not even. Alright. Ooh, paint on me. Alright. So now we're going to do the same thing, but with a lighter color and only very sparsely, like very, very light amount. Because we want the lighter color to be like the top area, I guess. Let me dab that off a little bit. So it's like the under it is the darker, more dried, I guess, older rust, whereas the newer rust on top would be a little bit lighter. I guess that's how that works. I'm not great with knowing anything about actual rust, so I don't even know if that's true. Let me put all these paints away, and then I'll bring the gun up here. Or, oh no, I'll go clear coat this first. I'm going to clear coat that, come back, put it on the gun, and then do the wire, the hose thing, and then it should, and then tighten the things down, obviously, to clamp it down. And that should be everything. Okay, there's a portion I completely forgot to do, and that's the black wash portion. So I need to darken up this light silver, or this light gray, or whatever. You can see it's pretty clean. We need to fix that. So this is just watered down black paint. And then we're just gonna go over all of the areas that we want to darken up a bit. And then we can take the paper towel and wipe it down a bit, leaving some still in the crevices. Like so. So it turns out I wasn't able to do this part on video, but yeah, it's done. So the reason that I wasn't able to do it on video was because I had to have it off of the table, and I couldn't figure out a good way to put everything together and have the camera face it and not have problems. So I had to do it off camera. But yeah, I kind of wish I turned the thing a little more so you could see this, but it'll be fine. I can always do that later if I need to, and this is not glued in, so you can take it out. So if I do want to rotate it, I can still. This was a pain in the butt. So I did a smaller hex nut out of 6mm What the Foam, which is a really strong foam that has a rubber content in it. And so I made it out of that and then made an angle inside of it in the little hole there to make it look more angled like that. And it's actually still drying, but there's a little dowel, the one I was using for the mixing stick. I broke part of it off and put it down in there inside here, like I drilled a hole and put it in here, and used 5-minute epoxy on that, and then 5-minute epoxy to get it inside here, which will hold better than super glue, and then super glue around the bottom of the nut just to keep it in place while it dries so it doesn't go anywhere. It's not gonna, this isn't for hold. The super glue is just to keep it in place while the 5-minute epoxy dried. And then, yeah, everything is just, these just screw on with either, I used a screwdriver, which was why it was hard, and I've also used pliers before because these do have like a wrench thing, so you can use wrench or pliers or whatever. But either way is crazy difficult to make it work right, but it's whatever. But yeah, so that's all I had to do left, and now the whole thing's done. So I'm trying to not get my arm in the way there. But we also have a black PVC pipe thing that'll go like here, possibly. We're not sure if we're going to do that yet, because it does look kind of cool without it, but we're going to decide on that later. So This is coming out well before it's going to be seen in the vlog that we're doing, which is at SummerCon 2022 or 2023 SummerCon, where we're going to have this for Luigi. So, yeah. And in case anyone didn't know, I don't remember if I said it or not, but this was for a Mario and Luigi costume where I have my Mario that has a hammer and Luigi gets a flamethrower because Fire Flower and Luigi has a thing he holds in two hands, which is a vacuum usually in the Luigi's Mansion. So a gun kind of, yeah. We were going to go with a backpack version. I think I said it at the beginning of the video. We were going to go with the backpack version where it had a thing coming out from the backpack onto this, which looks a lot more like the vacuum style thing that he has. But this was a lot easier for us to be able to carry stuff around with. So we just went with this instead. But yeah, so that's it for this. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.